السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أرحب بحضراتكم جميعا سواء في البث الزوم أو في اللايف ستريمينج على الفيسبوك. أرحب بحضراتكم جميعا وإن شاء الله نبدأ المحاضرة التعريفية the orientation session about our course in English Phonology. The voice is clear? Is my voice clear? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start. An advanced course in English phonology and pronunciation teaching. So it's a course dedicated to the teaching of the fundamentals of phonology, but in a practical way. In a practical way, in the sense that we're not going to study the theoretical aspects of phonology only, but we're going to apply all the time. So we use the theoretical aspects of phonetics in order to reach fluency, to reach real fluency, fluency that is based on academic learning of phonology. So what is the difference between phonetics and phonology? Actually, in phonetics, we study the production of sounds, how sounds are produced, and we differentiate between vowels and consonants, vowel sounds and consonant sounds. We differentiate between letters and sounds, okay? So in phonetics, we study how each sound is produced and differentiate and distinguish between similar vowels, similar consonants, and minimal pairs, and so on. But in phonology, we go further. In phonology, we go further and discuss what is larger than, what is beyond the phoneme, what is beyond the phoneme, okay? Who is the course instructor? Okay, I'm going to teach this course by myself. Hisham Muhammad Mustafa, this is my name, lecturer in English linguistics, ex-head of the Department of English Language and Translation at Qasim University. A 14-year experience in academic teaching, Bachelor of Education, Faculty of Education, Bachelor of Arts from the Faculty of Arts, Tanta University, Preliminary Diploma in English Linguistics from Minofia University, MA in English Linguistics, Minofia University, PhD candidate in Cognitive Semantics and Critical Discourse Analysis, Banha University, honorary membership of the Egyptian Translators and Linguists Association, master trainer and consultant at the EduDam Education and Training Services. This course, inshallah, will be accredited by EduDam Training, EduDam Education and Training Services. Let's start the basic components of the course. Number one, introduction to the course. Introduction to the course, this is the definition of phonology. We have the definition of phonology and phonetics versus phonology. So of course, before studying this course, you should be aware of phonetics. You should be aware of phonetic symbols, transcription of words, okay? The differences between vowels and consonants, okay? Both theoretically and practically. Before starting this course, you should be aware of this because this is an advanced level. This is an advanced level, okay? So after that, we are going to start with morphophonemics. Morphophonemics discuss things related to the pronunciation of consonant clusters at the end, like the ed suffix, okay? So we're going to distinguish between the different pronunciations of the ed and the different pronunciations of s, the suffix s, in plural nouns and in the third person singular verbs. The pronunciation of inflectional suffixes, actually, this is something very important, okay? And we're going to also discuss other consonant clusters, the pronunciation of consonant clusters, because this is important for us as non-natives. Sometimes we insert a vowel between consonant clusters because we are not accustomed to this way of consonantal clusters, okay? So we sometimes add vowels between the consonants, okay, to make it easier to pronounce. In the second session, we're going to study syllable structure, the structure of the syllable. What is the definition of a syllable? How a syllable is structured, okay? The minimal syllable and the division of syllables according to their weakness and strength into strong syllables and weak syllables. Actually, strong syllables mean that they are strongly stressed, and weak syllables are weakly stressed, okay? So we are going to see the nature of the stress in English, How can we pronounce stressed and unstressed syllables? This is something very important, okay? Because stress is something very important in English. If you misplace stress, this would lead to mispronunciation. Also, we are going to discuss how to place stress, which syllable should take the stress, in words. Is there a simple rule for this or not? Actually, in English, there is not a simple rule for the place of the stress. Why? In English, the stress is said to be both fixed and free, fixed in the sense that you must put it in a specific syllable in each word. You cannot put it anywhere. In each word, you cannot put it anywhere. For example, the word sentence. If I put it on the second syllable and say sentence, actually here this is a mistake. Okay? It's not acceptable. So in each word, there is a fixed place for the stress. However, we cannot say that in English we have a fixed place for the stress in all words. So I cannot say that in English the stress comes or falls on the first syllable or the second syllable or the last syllable. No, this is not found in English, actually. We don't have this fixed rule. So you should be aware of that. Also, stress placement in English is not easy to decide. Do you remember when we said that the relation between sounds and letters is not reliable? So we depend on transcription. Also, the place of the stress is not that easy to decide for all the words. So there are no rules for this. No, there are some rules, some guiding rules, okay, some guidelines that may help us in deciding the place of the stress. But these rules are not 100% guaranteed. You understand my point? So you cannot say that all nouns have their stress on the first syllable, all verbs have their stress on the second syllable. This is the rule. No, it's not like that. It's not that easy, okay? There are different rules for the placement of the stress. So this would be. So the most important thing also to know how to pronounce these degrees of stress. Okay, so when I pronounce a word, I should know how to pronounce it correctly, accurately, using the suitable stress placement. Okay, so in a word like organization, organization, organization. Okay, you would find that organize, the fourth syllable is stressed. Okay, so you would find that it's louder and clearer than the rest of the syllables. So it's important to practice this. It's not theoretical. This course is not theoretical. You have to practice. So attendance is a must. Attendance is a must. Number 3, the trainee will be able to distinguish between grammar words and content words, distinguish between weak forms and strong forms, to practice using weak forms in connected speech. What the meaning of weak forms? Weak forms means, refers to the fact that many English words, many grammatical words in connected speech, they have a weak form, in the sense that the vowel in these words, it change into schwa, or into a weak syllable. So for example, if I say and, okay, in connected speech, I do not pronounce it in this way. There is a weak form for and. It's an, or and. So the first vowel, would it change from a into schwa? As I say also an. I don't say an apple, but I say an apple. Why? Because this is the weak form of an. So these words, which are called grammatical words, like prepositions, pronouns, auxiliary verbs, articles, these words have two forms, weak form and strong form. So in connected speech, we use the weak form. We usually use the weak form. But in some cases, we may use the strong form, and we will study this. And this might change meaning. If you use the strong form instead of the weak form, this might change meaning. Number 4, we study rhythm. What's the meaning of rhythm? Do you know your heart? Your heart is rhythmic. The same time, there is the same time between your heartbeats, okay? So rhythm refers to time. Rhythm refers to time. In rhythm, we study the distinction between stress-timed and syllable-time languages. Stress-time languages means stress-time languages mean that the time given to each syllable is equal. Sorry, this is syllable time. Syllable timed means that time is distributed according to the number of syllables. So I have 5 syllables. This means that I'm going to distribute time according to the number of syllables. But this is not found in English. This is not correct in English. Actually, English is a stress-timed language, in the sense that we distribute time not according to the number of syllables, but according to the number of stresses or stress syllables. So I distribute time according to the number of stress syllables. So the center is the stress syllable, together with the unstressed syllables before and after this center, which is the stress syllable. So we don't pronounce words syllable by syllable. You understand my point? So when I pronounce a word, I do not pronounce it equally, syllabically, but I focus on and give much more time to stress syllables, what is called stress group, the stress group. تمام. Identify rhythmic units, so we should identify rhythmic units عشان خاطر أعرف أنطق chunks of words, so we should identify the rhythmic units and distribute the time according to these rhythmic units. And we are going to read sentences rhythmically. That's great. After that, we go to fluency or connected to speech features, fluency and connected to speech features. And here, the trainee will be able to use assimilation and elision effectively and naturally. Assimilation means that one sound copies the features of another adjacent sound, Another adjacent sound means that two sounds are close to each other. So one sound copies the feature of another sound, okay? These features may be voicing, maybe place of articulation, maybe manner of articulation. So when I say 10 pounds, 10 pounds, Tim, it's a 10, not 10. Yes, it's a 10, but because 10, the nah sound is followed by p sound, and the p sound is bilabial, so the nah becomes bilabial too. So this is assimilation of the place of articulation. So you should practice this. You should have examples and we should practice this. And all the time you are giving feedback. Figure out assimilated and elided utterances. To figure out assimilated, you would listen to texts and figure out assimilated and elision. What the meaning of elision? Elision means that some sounds are deleted in connected to speech, and speaking rapidly. So some sounds are deleted, completely deleted. You couldn't hear them, okay? So for example, when I say, she helped me yesterday, she helped me yesterday, she helped me yesterday, she helped me yesterday, she helped me yesterday. I didn't say she helped me yesterday. So this is an example of elision. Linking, number 6, linking, and this is also another feature of fluency or connected speech. Hand linking may be divided into liaison and catenation. The trainee will be able to use linking and weakening in connected to speech, figure out linking in connected to speech the same way. So we're going to have more and more exercises on linking and the different types of linking, liaison, linking of vowels, and catenation, linking of consonants. And also this would be very useful in listening as well, not only in speaking, but you would manage to understand how native speakers or how fluent speakers can use the language fluently, can speak fluently using these features. And you can detect or figure out there is elision here, there is linking here, there is catenation, and so on. After that, we're going to the strategies for teaching pronunciation, because actually the problems of teaching pronunciation, actually are different and various. Number one, the teacher who is going to teach pronunciation, the teacher or the phonetic coach, who is going to train the students on pronunciation, correct pronunciation, the teacher themselves should be aware of the phonetic aspects, the phonological aspects, both theoretically and practically. So as we can find here, we're going to practice all the time. And at the same time, it's not enough to be fluent. In order to be a good teacher, it's not enough to be fluent, but you should know how to teach this fluency, how to teach this correct pronunciation to your students, how to train them on correct pronunciation. Of course, if I myself cannot pronounce correctly, I cannot teach others to pronounce correctly. It would be something theoretical. Okay, but at the same time, it's not enough to be fluent, to teach others fluency. Yes, I may be fluent. I may speak English fluently, and I know good pronunciation well, and I may know the rules, and I can apply these rules, but I cannot teach others how to pronounce. Okay, so you need to be aware of how to communicate, how to convey this knowledge you have to your students. And this is, of course, the mission of the teacher. So we're going to, the teachers or the trainees will be able to identify the significance of teaching pronunciation, because of course, teaching pronunciation is very important for the students. We should not say that it's marginalized at schools. Yes, it's marginalized at school. Pronunciation is not given its due significance because of what? Because of exams and grammar. So we should address the problem of marginalizing pronunciation teaching. We should use different strategies for teaching pronunciation, different techniques, different applications, different lesson plans for teaching pronunciation. Also for teaching young learners, the trainee will be able to use nursery rhymes in teaching pronunciation, use tongue twisters, use modern apps in mobile learning in training, and use mobile learning in training the students. After that, we have sample drills on doing connected speech. Sample drills here, I mean practical drills on speaking, on reading fluently, applying all the techniques that we have studied. Okay, so we will be able to analyze the whole text phonetically and phonologically, not just to study it theoretically, but we'll be able to answer questions about the structure, the analytical structure of the text, from whether to analyze texts at the segmental and suprasegmental levels, not only the segmental levels, but segmental and suprasegmental levels. Okay, so this is something very important. After that, we would have final assessment, and also this would be practical. You're going to give me a presentation of a sample lesson in a video. Okay, maybe if I not give a video, can be face to face. You can explain some rules practically while you are teaching your students. Okay, it may be a demo in which you try to teach some phonological aspects to your students. So I think after this, we will be ready to teach pronunciation, but of course, as I told you, this needs more and more practice. You need to practice all the time. Even after the course, you need to practice. It's not something that you are given once and it would change, it would automatically be done, but you have to start correctly. Start correctly. Do your best. And this course, alhamdulillah, in this course, many teachers studied with me. Even university professors studied with me this course. And I was proud of the results, of their results. I'm going to give you an example, okay, if you allow me. Can you see this? Can you see this text? This text, okay, this is the practice. After the end of the course, you need to practice on sample texts like this. So we can study things like this. The Ministry of Communications, so you can read from the transcription, not only from the text itself, but also from the transcription. So here you will be able to give detailed analysis of the whole text. So here, when you start reading the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, here I would ask you, what is this? Is it strong form or weak form? Yes, this is the weak form of that. The strong form is the. Why did you use the weak form? Because it's followed by a consonant. So it's the, not the. The ministry, what is this called? This is called a rhythmic unit. Okay, because it has the stress. Where is the main stress? The main stress is here on the first syllable of ministry. What about this? Here we have, this is called stress group. So the ministry. How many syllables? 3 syllables. Okay, this is the primary stress lies here. Of communications. Why do you pronounce it so quickly? Yes, because this is one rhythmic unit. Of communications. How many syllables are there in this rhythmic unit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 syllables. Okay, where is the primary stress? The primary stress lies here. Occasions. Okay, what about the rhythmic? What about the stress group? Yes, this is the stress group. Okay, but what about this? Although, yes, all these syllables were said very quickly. All these syllables will be said very quickly. Okay, so of communications, and information. So you are reading from it. Don't say information. Of course, in the American accent, if you pronounce it in the American accent, say information. So you would pronounce the R sound here, because the American accent is a rhotic accent, as we studied in phonetics. Do you remember? Technology, information technology. The stress is here. This is another word and another stress group here. Technology, information technology. MCIT, so following information, MCIT. Recently announced that, so here there is illusion. Announced the details of the Future Work Digital, initiative, FWD, initiative. So the stress here is on the second syllable, you can see. So we should distribute the stress. And we should distribute time according to the rhythmic units. Okay, so this sentence will be discussed in this way. We divide it into rhythmic units and rhythmic groups. Inshallah, everything will be clear because you're going to practice this. Okay, but I'm just showing you the result. This is the result at the end of the course. Okay, so would practice texts like this at the end of the course. Would practice texts like this in order to ensure that we could understand both theoretically and practically. Okay, I'd like to thank you very much for your attentive listening to the explanation, and I wish that we could meet soon, inshallah. I hope I hope that we can meet soon, inshallah, in the course. Inshallah, we are going to start this course next week, so you can contact you are most welcome, Mr. Ahmed. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? طبعا انا مش شايف الناس اللي هي بره البث، انا شايف بس الناس اللي معايا في البث. طبعا في ناس في الفيسبوك ممكن تكون شايفاني، لكن مش هقدر ان انا اشوف الاسئله بتاعتهم صراحه. يعني everything is clear. Thank you very much. اتمنى لكم التوفيق دايما، واتمنى ان تكون المحاضره كانت واضحه وما كانش فيها شيء غامض ولا شيء صعب. يعني you are all most welcome. Thank you very much. You are all most welcome. I appreciate your attendance and your participation. Your feedback is highly appreciated also. طبعا لو حابين تشتركوا في الكورس ان شاء الله ممكن تتواصلوا مع مس سلمى على رقم الواتس، وان شاء الله نبدأ قريبا جدا. أشكركم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.